Hi, Makenna. You said you were having some issues with this question on the quiz about 1 million times and how many seconds and how many minutes and how many hours it takes and so on. Like we talked about in class when we did the review, the way that you wanna start these problems, like part A, how many seconds to breathe 1 million times, is that you start with the 1 million. 1 million breaths. And then you got to use the ratio that you've been given, right? And you got to use it in such a way that you are going to cancel out units and things like that. So 26 times 26 breaths per minute. If I want units to cancel out, this is how I'm going to arrange that ratio. Okay, because when I do that, breaths and breaths are going to cancel out. Problem is, I don't want minutes, I want it in terms of seconds. So I need to multiply by another ratio that will tell me how many seconds that is, right? So the relationship between minutes and seconds is that there are 60 seconds in 1 minute, right? So if I do that, minutes and minutes are going to cancel out, and now I can figure out what this would be. So I would do 1 million times 60. If you do that in your calculator, you'll get 60 million. Denominator is 26, because 26 times 1 is 26. And then you're going to do your division, and that will be your answer. Okay? I'll show you question B again, right? So again, we start with the 1 million, right? Because I want to know 1 million breaths. And I got to use that ratio. That ratio is going to get used every single time. And it's going to get used every single time in this way because I need those units, breaths and breaths, to cancel each other out. Now question B is asking for how many minutes. That's the only unit I have left. So I'm actually just about done here. 26. You'll get an answer. And then if we just take a quick look at C, and D and E are going to all work the same way, right? But if I have 1 million breaths, and then, like I said, you got to use this ratio again, this 1 minute and 26 breaths. So 1 minute, 26 breaths. Because when I do that, right, breaths and breaths cancel out, but the unit I have is minutes, and I want hours, right? So now I need to think about the relationship between minutes and hours, right? And that there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. And I arrange it that way because I want those two units to cancel out, and the only unit I have left is hours. So you end up having, in the numerator, you'll have 1 million. 1 million times 1 times 1 over 26 times 60. And you'd have to do that in your calculator, and then whatever that number is, you would, what is it? 1200, something like that. Anyway, whatever that number is, you got to divide it, and that will be your answer. And then you'll do the same thing with D and E. So I hope that this helps you a little bit in doing these kind of problems.